Arsene, good morning.
Good morning.
Could we start with the team news ahead of the Brighton game?
Yes, we have basically some uncertainties about Chamberlain, Bellerin, but they'll have tests today, and Bellerin should be available. Chamberlain, I'm not sure.
Serge Gnabry's back in training, am I right?
Serge Gnabry is back in full training, but in its first games in the under-21, because he's been out for a very long time. But he looks quite promising again, physically and fitness-wise. He's okay.
And is there any update on Danny Welbeck at all?
Danny Welbeck is still out for. I think he will need 2 more games to be back again. He's not in full training yet.
Just looking back to last Sunday at Manchester City, what was that? How much did that performance please you, and what's it done for the team's confidence?
Well, we had, I think, a very controlled performance, and with a great solidarity, great togetherness. That's always a very good basis where everybody contributed with hard work, great work rate, and I think can we keep that focus on these qualities and improve our technical level, we can only get stronger.
And just lastly from me, you travelled to Brighton on Sunday in the FA Cup. How different a challenge is it to play away from home in the FA Cup, especially to a team in the lower division?
In the Championship it's always difficult away from home, and we remember Brighton 2 years ago. I remember that it was a very difficult game against a team who was on the way up. They were fighting at the top level. Gaspoid at that time was manager. They just bought Duloa when we went there, and it was a very difficult game. We need to dig deep to get out with a positive result.
Also, can you just clarify what the problems are with Chamberlain and Bellerin?
Chamberlain is his inflammation of his growing problems, and Bellerin is an ankle problem.
Thank you. Christian Bielik has joined you. Does he come into your thinking at all for this match? Is he in?
No, not at all. No. He comes just from Poland. He's just turned 17. He's not fit because they had the winter break in Poland. That is quite long, so he's at the start of getting back to full fitness. He's not ready before 3 weeks.
Do you see him more as a central defender or as a defensive midfielder?
Defensive midfield, without any question.
In terms of trying to bring in a central defender, which you've talked about quite a bit over the last few weeks, how are talks progressing with Villarreal over Gabriel Paulista?
You're better informed than I am. No, the talks are progressing quite well.
Is it true that Arsenal,
to be serious,
has made a £6 million bid? Has there been any bid?
Look, I don't think there's need to say much more. What we are talking at the moment, can we find an agreement or not? I don't know. We are slowly progressing, but there's a chance.
Would you be prepared to pay the €20 million buyout clause, or is that too much?
Look, at the moment we are talking. 20 million is euros. That means at the moment
so it's 16 million.
It's 15 million pounds to transform it into pounds.
And would that be too much?
We are ready to pay the price we think right for a good player, no matter what the price is. If we think it's the right price, we will pay.
He would need a work permit. How keen are you to get it done, perhaps now, because of the change that's coming in the summer over getting a work permit? If you paid over 10 million in the summer, he would qualify for a work permit. If you wanted to do it for, say, less than 10 million now, getting a work permit might be a bit tricky, or trickier.
Yeah, trickier, but we first of all, I don't really understand the logic of this rule. But secondly, we want the player. If a player we want needs a work permit, we'll defend it now, because we will not necessarily want to do it in the summer. We are short at the moment now, so no matter what the rules are, we have to do it now.
If you could get that done, would that be you done? Would that be it?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay. Have you noticed a change this week in training, given what happened at the weekend, the fantastic result that you had at Manchester
Look, what
City?
happened over the weekend helps the team to strengthen our confidence, of course, but I think the attitude of the players since the start of the season, on the desire to do well, on the solidarity, has been extremely good. So on that, the basics have not changed. We are certainly a bit more belief and a bit more strength in our belief, yes.
And do you see Brighton as perhaps a slightly different proposition now under Chris Hughton? I mean, he's had, or seems to have had, some kind of impact.
Chris Hughton has
Chris
Hughton will give them his experience and his competence, of course, and he knows how to prepare a team for a challenge like that. For us, the challenge is to turn up with the same spirit and show that we can be consistent with our attitude game by game, and in the cup, God knows that is needed, you know, and we know it will be, of course, another big challenge for us to go there and come home with a positive result.
Do you want to see the same spirit, the same attitude that Arsenal showed last weekend in every game between now and the end of the season?
Of course. I believe that the spirit was always there. We had not always the same defensive solidity, you know, because we were many times in a position where we had to throw everything forward because we conceded early goals.
Arsene, you said that there was a chance of Pallister coming. Are we talking about 50-50 or 70-30? What sort of chance?
50-50.
At this moment in time?
At this moment, yes.
Theo Walcott has said this week that he thinks the current Arsenal attack is better than the Invincibles. Is he going a bit over the top there?
I think number-wise, certainly we have more players today of top level than we had at the time, but at that time we had exceptional players. We had number-wise, we were shorter than we are today. The competition for places, what Walcott certainly wants to say, that the competition for places was not as difficult as it is today, and I agree with that on him. Having said that, we had exceptional players.
One final question from me. Deloitte's report out today says that the 20 Premier League clubs are now amongst the top 40 wealthiest clubs in the world, which is a great reflection on the Premier League. As somebody who's been involved in the Premier League for so many years, what do you feel the success of it is?
The success of the Premier League is that the world's richest people invest in the Premier League, what has not been the case in the other leagues.
Why?
That's a very good question, because I think the quality and the audience of the Premier League all over the world is big. And maybe Europe is getting poor, but the rest of the world is getting richer, but the rest of the world invests in football in Europe, and at the moment only in England. Will that last? I'm not completely sure, but and the second reason is as well, but that's down to you, to televisions, to the fact that television in England pays the money that makes us richer.
But as far as you're concerned, it's the best in the world.
For me, it's always, I'm always a bit cautious to use the word best, but the most spectacular, certainly, the most attractive to watch, certainly, for sure.
Arsene, is it looking likely that Ozil will start on Sunday? Ozil?
Is likely, yes.
Also, Teixeira, who's the loanee from Liverpool for Brighton, he scored a double against...
Yesterday.
Yes. Do you think that he's going to be a player to watch and mark?
Yes, of course. We have to keep very strong, very strikers quiet, and in the cup, you know, you have to be ready from the start on, and people like that can always surprise you if you're not ready.
And do you consider him to be potentially one of their main threats?
We have to study them well. We will do that today and tomorrow. But of course, he's one of the players who at the moment scores.
Arsene, just on the work permit rule you were talking about, you said you didn't really understand the logic of it. Could you explain what you meant?
The logic of the availability of the work permit is linked exactly with the amount of money you spend. That is not, it should be linked with the quality of the players only.
Because at the moment, I think if a player plays 75% of their international matches over the last 2 years, they get a work permit. But if they don't, the appeal is just a subjective argument as to whether this player's good or not.
You're right, but the amount of money that you spend is not always directly linked with the quality of the play. It's linked with availability of the player, with the need of money, and with your financial potential as well. And I think the 75% rule as well can be, of course, questioned, because it's much more difficult to make 75% of the games for Brazil than for Luxembourg. And so that's again, it's very difficult to make a rule that satisfies everybody.
You've obviously still got some negotiating to do, but you must be confident then that Paulista would fit that criteria, that you would get a work permit for him if you needed one.
Look, we don't know. We are open. We respect the rules in England. When you buy a player who does not fulfill the criteria and needs a work permit, we go in front of a commission and they tell us, okay, yes or no, we'll accept that. You know, we cannot. We have to respect the rules that are in this country. After, are the rules right or not? That can be discussed, but at the moment the rules are like that. You have to go in front of a committee to get the work permit.
Just ask you about Francis Coquelin. It's been quite a turnaround for him from being on loan at Charlton to being sort of anchoring your midfield. Can you just talk about the reasons why you brought him back and then put him in the team and just how well he's done?
Because I saw that he has made huge improvements in training, and I explained to him that for me to give him a potential chance, he needs match practice, and I cannot give him that. I can give him that only if he has played somewhere else before. He took the challenge, he came back, and I think since I played him, he's doing well.
Do you see him as a long-term solution? Has he got that capability?
Yeah, of course, he's a very young player, and you look just at what's happening on the football pitch, you know, and win the ball and make a good pass, and that's in his position is the most important.
He's out of contract, I think, in the summer. Are there plans to offer him a new deal?
Yes, we offer him a new deal.
So it's on the table at the moment?
Yes.
Are you confident that he'll sign?
I'm confident that it will be done.
Thank you.
Arsene, can I just ask a bit of clarification? If you paid the amount set, 10, 50 million, whatever it is, you wouldn't need a work permit?
We will need a work permit.
You'd need one regardless, because there's some suggestion that if you paid if the deal was worth 10, 12 million pounds.
But that's only coming in June.
What's the situation with Abu Dhabi at the moment?
Abu Dhabi is still injured.
Should we expect him again this season? Because obviously he's another player whose future is in
Look,
there.
at the moment, he's not in a position where he will be ready to play soon, because he's not on the field at the moment at all.
Do you have a decision to make about his contract?
I will have a decision to make about his contract, yes.
When we looked at the bench at the weekend, you had Walcott, Ozil. Are these guys now fringe players? Is that a luxury now for you? You've got guys like that on the bench?
No, it's you know, if people reproach you when you have no competition on the bench, and when there is one, they question you as well. I think it's true that there's competition for places at the moment, and that is a luxury that only a club like ours of our stature can afford. But it can make the players better, because the competition inside the club is always very important to keep everybody on his toes. And these are players who are in a little bit in a special position. It's not their quality that is questioned, it's the fact that they just come back from long-term injuries.
Do you have your best 11 and your best formation? Is that settled for you when everyone's fit?
Look, the best 11 that I have in my head can change every week, you know. That we are in a world where competition is vital, and the competition is just down to the performance in the last game.
Arsene, just a word on Santi Cazorla last week, and on giving him one of his best performances for Arsenal. Have you noticed a change, and is there a reason why he's now producing such good football?
He's a very, as you know, a very talented football player, but since he plays central, I think he has taken another dimension, because on the flank he was a bit more exposed to things where he's not at his best, but in the middle of the park he gets you out of situations when you're under pressure. He's always technically perfect, and I think yes, he's in the recent games he has been certainly in the best form of his career.
Was he putting pressure on you, or did you see that change in him, that he had to go more
No, he didn't put any pressure. Santi's happy to play. You know, he's every day happy to be with the ball and go out there. He's a perfect example for every young player, believe me, to follow.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Take the microphones out.